Good morning, everyone. We're back for another episode of Going with the Chappells.
Yay!
We're commuting. And, this episode 13. Last time we kind of put you guys to sleep in the darkness. Sorry about that, but it was late coming home from work, and we didn't realize it'd be so dark in the car. But we're here now, and
today's just a hazy, overcast, gray day that makes me sleepy. So.
Exactly. We're trying not to go to sleep on the way to work.
Yes.
Well, hope you guys are doing great. Once, as we always say, if you like what you're seeing, hit the like and subscribe button below and follow us some more. We're really excited about going live soon. Yeah. But today, what are we talking about today, Sarah?
Comfort zone.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. Comfort zones can be good. And they can also be detrimental. Just saying.
Well, what got us talking about that is this idea that we're having, this structure we want to build.
Yeah, and we've actually had this idea for years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We've always wanted to do something in our old backyard. Now we have this huge backyard, and we've always wanted to build something like this, but we've never taken the plunge. But I think we've been collecting the materials over the last few months, but we want to build a greenhouse.
Yeah, with salvaged windows.
Yeah, I have some windows that I got, some wood windows I got from a project. I have some vinyl windows that were mess-ups and stuff. So we want to kind of put all that hodgepodge together and make a really cool structure that we can have a greenhouse in our backyard that we can grow our herbs and our fruits and vegetables and all kinds of stuff in.
But we don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So we are like, ooh, but there's a part of us that really wants to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so we started talking about, like, it's just out of our comfort zone, and but we want to do it. Like, we want to build it. We want to find plans, and yes, get help from smart people who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But we just want to develop some new skills.
And with that in mind, as we were talking through some of that and thinking about it, we reminded ourselves that we literally just completely destroyed our comfort zone over the last year and put ourselves in a place of major discomfort for a good period of time in order to walk through a new adventure together.
We're kind of coming up to a year of discomfort because I'm pretty sure it was October that I started decluttering and cleaning the house, and we started getting it ready for the market.
Yep.
So I feel like I kind of haven't sat down other than riding in this car since October.
And the moment we sold the house, it ratcheted up another notch, right? The discomfort level got ratcheted up. Then we had the holidays and all that stuff while we were kind of packing the house, getting ready.
First panic attack was like 2 nights before we moved out. Like, I had never had that kind of panic attack, but I woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't breathe and thought I was having a heart attack.
Yeah.
I was scared to move.
Of course, we moved to an apartment. We sell the house. We have the apartment drama. Like, it's just constant state of, we were in like a constant flux of uncomfortableness for a long time, right? And it brought out emotions in us that I don't think we had shared with each other or experienced in a long time. Yeah.
But I think what it's helping us realize is, like, if we can figure out how to do these other things, we can figure out how to do this. Like, we don't know how to do it, but we have confidence that we will figure it out.
Yeah, and I think one of the videos that we saw the other day,
I'm having visions of, like,
the guy,
lopsided, like,
the guy that was on there was narrating it. He was like, when you don't know how to do something, it's like you can't go about life going, oh, I don't know how to do that, I don't know how to do that. And he said something like, well, because you haven't taught yourself how to do it yet. He's like, a baby isn't born learning how to do a flat roof. Or knowing how to do a flat roof, You got to learn, you got to teach yourself these things if it's what you really want to do. And I think that's where our mindset is right now with the structure. But one of the things that we wanted to kind of talk about is, what is a comfort zone? And what can it do and what can't it do, right? And I think there's a couple things you wanted to...
Well, I think we were going to talk about Well, there's a quote, I think, from Phil Stutz, which if you have not seen Stutz on Netflix, it's amazing. Go watch it. But he's a psychiatrist and he's phenomenal and he has all these tools. But I have a quote that I think it's from his book, The Tools, which is really good. And he says, the comfort zone, it keeps your life small, not safe. Life provides endless possibilities, but along with them comes pain. If you can't tolerate pain, you can't be fully alive. Held in the comfort zone by the need for immediate gratification, we end up with a distorted worldview that makes avoidance seem right, even brave and idealistic.
Yeah.
And I think that that's so good. Like, I'm so capable of wanting to make my life small and fit inside the comfort zone, and things outside the comfort zone scare me. And really, it's about avoiding pain.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's about. I don't want to feel pain.
It is.
And so we were going to challenge each other. What are 2 places that you need to push yourself outside of your comfort zone? And then what are 1 or 2 places where you just draw security and comfort, and it's like home base? You can just enjoy the pleasure of that comfort zone.
Yeah. And I had a lot of thought on this yesterday when we were talking about it. And one of the things that I think for me that I've been able to experience and do in my adult life when it comes to comfort zones has been relationships.
Okay.
And I've gotten into, I wouldn't call it a rut, but I've gotten into a complacent, comfortable place when it comes to who I'm associating with, what we're doing, and you know, the stagnation of sitting still in life, because I'm not really putting people around me that are going to inspire me and challenge me, right?
Well, we've talked about this before, like, if you want something you don't have, you can't just sit there and be like, oh, I wish I had that, and I don't know how to do it, and I'm not going to read a book, and I'm not going to do anything to figure it out. It's like, okay, if I read 3 books on a topic, I already know more than, like, a huge percentage of people about that topic, right? Yep. And if I want to acquire something or do something, then I should make friends with people who are doing or being what I want to do or be. Like, if you want to be a good dad, make friends who are great dads.
Hang out with good dads.
Yeah. If you want to make $1 million, make some friends that have made $1 million. Yeah. You know, like, read books on how to make $1 million. So I think that there's a lot of quotes around, like, who you surround yourself with and who you become. Yep.
And I know for me, I've gone through phases in my life where I've changed the friend groups, right? Just kind of shifted things a little bit to level up, right? It's all about leveling up. We always talk about that, and that's just important, but it's leveling up your consciousness and going to a different level of challenge of what your interests are, what your challenges are, what your goals are, and finding people that are of a like mind, that want to do those same things and move forward, or have already done it, or interested in it. You know, that's the mentality, I think, that changes your perspective and gets you kind of your ship righted a little better.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
What about you?
A place. So what were you answering?
So and ADD. No, I'm just kidding. I was talking about what is one of the places where you want to get outside of your comfort zone?
Oh, okay.
Challenging yourself.
For me, right now, it's actually, I feel pretty topsy-turvy, turned upside down, if I'm being honest. So I'm going to go back to what has worked for me in the past. And it's counterintuitive, but when I exercise, that's when I have my breakthroughs. So for me, the place I need to get out of my comfort zone right now is that I'm not exercising hardly at all, because I'm riding in this car. But, and when I get home, I'm tired. But when I first started doing my coaching with Kimberly Boyd, you're like, well, what do you want to work on? And so it was, I wanted to lose weight. And so the way that started was I was just going to choose to walk, I think it was 3 or 4 days a week. After work, I would put my shoes on, I would change into walk clothes, and it didn't matter how far I walked. I could walk up and down the street, or I could walk for 3 miles, but I just made this commitment to myself that I would walk. And so much of the challenge was honestly just getting started, just changing clothes and putting the shoes on.
Yep.
And once I did that, then I would walk, and so that pain of doing something when I really just wanted to sit down led to this whole host of great things. Like, I quit drinking wine after work a lot because I was like, after you went for a walk, I wasn't stressed out and I didn't feel like I wanted a glass of wine. And then I really changed my relationship with discomfort, and I was like, this is my body getting stronger, and this is me knowing that I'm capable of more, and just really changed that association with pain. And then that summer we went to the river, and I knew I had made changes when we had to take all the tubes and everything down the river, but then when we were coming up, we had to carry all of it up the hill. And normally I would complain, and I was like, it's hot, it's tired, my legs hurt. And I was like, when I felt the pain, I was like, this is me getting stronger. And like, I really made new neural pathways in my brain. And so I think, just saying hello. So I think for me, because so much feels topsy-turvy, I'd like to make a commitment to myself. And this time I don't think it's walking. I think it's yoga. I think I want to commit to doing yoga 3 times a week. Doesn't matter if it's an hour, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, but I want to commit to doing yoga 3 times a week and just kind of take care of my body. And and by the way, walking and doing all that, even though I was faithful, lost no weight whatsoever. I quit drinking alcohol and was walking 3 to 4 times a week and didn't lose any weight.
You replaced it with muscle, huh?
I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm glad you brought up neural pathways.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of an interesting thing that I think personally we can use for the transition for the actual comfort zones that are positive. Right?
Yeah.
Because I think you build new ways of, I don't want to say coping, because it feels like a dependency, so to speak.
Well, but
or maybe
I don't think coping has to have a negative connotation. It's whatever you're using to cope, what kind of fruit or trauma does that create in your life? So if you're using something to cope with life and it's creating good, that's not negative.
Yeah. I guess I would look at it as the managing of stresses or whatever it is. I think when you get outside of your comfort zone and you challenge yourself to do something new and, try to accomplish a new goal or get out, sell your home and move out to the country, you develop a new way of managing the stresses, the anxieties, and the things that come with that, right? I think during our process of selling our house, there were moments there where we were second guessing ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? We were like, did we make a mistake? Should we have sold our house? Like, what are we doing? We can't find anything. And then we kind of leaned in on the faith that we had. But during that same process of the anxiety and all that stuff, it really, I think for us, the new neural pathway that we created was the appreciation and the sheer joy we got when we actually found our house and the blessing that it was. Like, now we wake up every day, and I honestly say this, we tell each other this all the time, I love this house.
Yeah, and we couldn't have had this if we weren't willing to risk the discomfort, the unknown, the pain. We wouldn't have been able to wake up and be like, oh, or fall asleep.
Yeah.
I mean,
and sleep better, right? Sleep comfortably in our home and in our new home, and just be excited about that. That's the new neural pathway that I think we both developed throughout this painful, uncomfortable, outside of comfort zone process. And it was neat, But that being said, what do you think are some of the? Well, I think honestly, I'll say this: my new comfort zone is that home.
Yeah.
Is being in that place and being there. I don't mind the commute. It doesn't bother me at all. We get our time to spend together. You have time to work on stuff when you need to. We can do these conversations and have our communications. We get to pretty much every day, for the most part, enjoy a beautiful sunrise and a fantastic sunset.
You know, that's a great point. I have seen so many sunrises and sunsets since we've been commuting, and I never saw the sunrise.
No.
Maybe occasionally a sunset, but
it's pretty rare that we saw the sunrise, though.
Yeah, and I mean, the colors are different every day, and the clouds are different every day, and it's just so beautiful. And yeah, so that has been, and that's a great example, though, of talking about neural pathways. So there's a good analogy of, like, say you had this thick, I don't know, block of Velveeta cheese, and you had this marble, and you dropped the marble, and eventually gravity found its way, helped the marble find its way through the block of cheese. Well, the next time you put a marble down, it's going to easily go wherever the first marble went, right? That pathway is worn. And so our brain works the same way. That whatever our habits are and whatever our thoughts are, those are well-worn pathways. And your brain wants to use the least amount of effort. So it just easily goes on the well-worn path. But obviously that can lead to a rut. And that may not always be what is most beneficial for you. So we are capable of changing our neural pathways. We are capable of carving out a new path. We are capable of getting out of the rut. It just takes more effort and more energy until that becomes the new well-worn pathway.
Yep.
Which is kind of what I was doing with the walking, right? My old pathway was like, I'm tired, I go home, I deserve to relax, I have a glass of wine, and I wanted to make a change. And so changing my clothes and putting on my shoes to take care of myself was a new neural pathway. And it was harder. It was way harder. But the benefit was good. And then because that pathway had been developed, a new pathway had been developed, when I was walking up that hill with the inner tube, my brain went to a new pathway of this me getting stronger instead of the old one, but I'm tired, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I derailed.
No, you did great. I mean, it's right along the same lines of, like, developing a new comfort zone, right?
Right.
And it's healthy to have a healthy comfort zone, because you always need a place where you can stop, decompress, slow down, and just relax. Being in a constant state of discomfort is super unhealthy and will wear you out and kill you faster, right? You got to have a place where you can just stop, be still, and be comfortable.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that, then you're just in a constant state of discomfort. And I think that's what we have experienced this past year.
Is a constant state of discomfort?
We were just in a constant state of discomfort. Couldn't quite get to a place where we could just relax and sit down and be okay. And I think once we got into our house, we got moved in and got kind of settled a little bit, we could stop and take a deep breath. And we said last night, like, we're just so ready to be home.
Yeah.
Right? Take a couple weekends where we don't travel and people aren't coming to visit. Like, we can just be there and just experience our house and for what it is.
Well, and because of everything we've been through recently, I actually think I'm struggling being able to unwind. Like, I think I'm just, like, all tense waiting for the next, crisis to arise.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think is for me is that quote by Dr. Stutz of pain. Like, I have to accept that there's a certain amount of pain that just comes with being fully alive.
Yep.
And just change my relationship with pain. This is me getting stronger. This is me growing. And again, so it goes back to that. So I'm having a hard time, like, sometimes scared to put my comfort into any one thing, because I'm like, well, what if that falls apart? Mm-hmm. And so I'm having to kind of work through that. And for me right now, it is the house, because I feel so rested when I'm there. Now, I do see, like, okay, what are my projects? You know, like, that's all and so it's sometimes hard for me to rest. But I've done better in this house for some reason. I don't know if because it's older or what. Like, I'm kind of okay with it just being older, and I'll get to the projects when I get to it. I don't know. Something about it just...
Well, I think it was put together better for us. Like, at some of the houses we had looked at, it was going to be a large amount of work and projects and stuff, but I think this house was just such a blessing that it was done.
Yes.
Given the stage of where we are in our lives, so...
Yeah, I can't imagine if we were in a fixer-upper right now. I do think the house is a comfort zone for me, but I can vividly remember going through all of this, you know, getting used to the commute, going through the grief and everything, and just opening the door to the salon and just being so grateful. This hasn't moved. This is, I know constant. How to do this. Yes, this is a constant. Yeah. And so I would say right now, work is kind of my constant, and I'm grateful for it.
But even with that, there's a little bit of outside of your comfort zone you're working on too, with the counseling and expanding that business and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, that's definitely out of... Well, I am getting more comfortable with that, but yes, it's not the 25,000 hours that I have doing hair in the salon. Yep. You know, that is it actually was when my brain was so fragmented, and I'm like leaving the groceries and the bacon on the kitchen table overnight. You know, it was so nice to go to work, use my hands, be with people I already know, do the things I already know how to do. Like, my brain so appreciated being able to complete a task, because that was so on autopilot that that was so rewarding and soothing to me to just be able to do that, because I wasn't able to really think or function very well, you know, after Tommy died and all of that. So still challenged, but...
Well, I think we're doing well, and I'm going to wrap this up really quick because we're about to lose the battery on the camera.
Okay.
So, good talk, and don't be afraid to get outside of your comfort zone. And step off the cliff.
I think one other great thing is when you are out of sorts, you don't know where you are, focus on what you love right in front of you. Yep. And like when we were moving and living with your mom, that was just going out for a walk every morning on the Greenbelt. Yep. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 45 minutes. But focus on something that you love right in front of you that you can do.
Amen. Well,
sweet.
Love you guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.